What if everything you thought you knew just fell apart? Imagine not only facing the chaos of a crumbling society, but also needing to watch out for dangerous individuals surrounding you. Welcome back to Prepper Dad, where we urgently cover everything you must know to stay safe when things get tough. Today, we must discuss 3 of the most dangerous types of people you may encounter when everything goes wrong. Trust me, these individuals can completely ruin everything you've worked for. If you want to be ready to confront any threat that comes your way, stay tuned for some crucial advice. Let's jump right in. When society collapses, whether due to civil unrest, a natural disaster, or any other SHTF scenario, the people around you can swiftly become your biggest threat. Not everyone handles a crisis in the same way. While some may react with kindness and cooperation, others will turn dangerous, unpredictable, and potentially deadly. Today we need to talk about the 3 most dangerous types of individuals you'll face during a crisis. Each of these people presents a unique threat, and your ability to handle them could mean the difference between survival and disaster. But it's not solely about identifying these threats. We'll also cover essential survival strategies, such as how to profile these individuals based on their behavior, how to safeguard your resources discreetly, and how to recognize early warning signs that might save your life. Let's begin with the first type of dangerous person, those who feel they have nothing to lose. This may sound obvious, but the reality is far darker than you might expect. These people have been shattered by the crisis. Perhaps they've lost their family, their home, or their future. Whatever it is, they've reached a point where they no longer care about consequences. When someone has nothing left to lose, they become incredibly dangerous because they feel they have nothing left to protect. Picture a person who has lost everything, their job, their house, and their family, all in a short span. Now they're on the streets, surviving day to day with no hope of improvement. Such despair can drive people to do things they'd never consider under normal circumstances. They might lash out violently because, in their minds, there's no downside to taking risks. When someone is indifferent to risks, they become unpredictable, and unpredictability is the enemy of survival. You must identify these individuals before they pose a threat to you or your group. What are the signs? People who feel they have nothing to lose often display erratic behavior. You'll notice them making reckless decisions, lashing out at others for no reason, or acting impulsively without considering consequences. These behaviors should be glaring red flags. Watch for individuals who seem overly aggressive in situations that don't warrant it. They may react disproportionately to minor slights or setbacks with anger or violence. Desperation may also manifest as unpredictable mood swings. Someone might appear calm one moment and then snap the next. When you see someone swinging between these extremes, it's a strong indication they've reached their breaking point. So how do you handle these people? First and foremost, maintain your distance. You don't want to be near someone who's spiraling. If engagement is unavoidable, don't confront them directly. Avoid triggering an outburst. Instead, utilize de-escalation techniques. Speak calmly and show empathy without making promises you can't fulfill. Sometimes just letting them feel acknowledged is enough to prevent an outburst. But the hard truth is that sometimes empathy isn't enough. You may have to make the difficult decision to cut them off and protect your group. You can't save everyone, and if someone's jeopardizing your group's safety, prioritizing your survival is essential. The second group of dangerous individuals you're likely to encounter in a crisis consists of those experienced in violence. These people aren't just angry or desperate, they're comfortable with violence. They may have been involved in street fights their entire lives, served in the military, or engaged in criminal activities. Regardless of their background, they know how to handle themselves in a fight and won't hesitate to resort to violence to achieve their goals. One thing you must understand about these individuals is that they thrive in chaos. When society breaks down, they come alive. While most people panic when rules vanish, These individuals see an opportunity to gain power and resources. They're the ones who will form gangs, seize control of valuable resources, and intimidate weaker individuals into submission. These individuals are dangerous, not only because of their violence, but also due to their strategic mindset. They can manipulate situations to their advantage and will use intimidation or force without hesitation. So how do you recognize someone like this? Start by looking for physical signs, scars, tattoos, or a particular demeanor suggesting familiarity with confrontation. They often project confidence even in high-stress situations. You'll see it in how they walk and talk. Everything about them screams, "I'm unafraid of violence." You'll also notice they remain calm under pressure. They faced enough dangerous situations that fear doesn't cloud their judgment. Instead, they maintain focus, which makes them even more perilous. If you find yourself in a confrontation with someone like this, expect them to keep their cool and wait for the right moment to strike. How do you deal with experienced violent individuals? First of all, never attempt to bluff them. If you try to act tough without being able to back it up, they'll see through your facade immediately. Instead, your best option is to avoid direct confrontation altogether. If you're forced into a situation where you must engage them, try offering something of value that doesn't compromise your position. This could be information, a trade, or even an alliance. Remember, these people respect strength. They'll see weakness as an opportunity to exploit you. Establish clear boundaries early. Signal that you won't be an easy target without issuing direct threats. It's a delicate balance of standing your ground without provoking them into action. And keep this in mind. If you're dealing with a group led by someone experienced in violence, exercise extra caution. These leaders are often charismatic and can rally others around them, making them even more dangerous. They may use fear to control their group, but also know how to manipulate and inspire loyalty. If you encounter someone like this, be prepared for the long haul. They're unlikely to back down easily. Now let's move on to the third and perhaps most insidious type of dangerous person, the unsuspecting predator. These individuals don't appear dangerous. They're not the type to come at you with guns blazing or fists swinging. No, they're far more subtle. They'll smile at you, offer help, and gain your trust. But beneath that facade lies a predator waiting for the right moment to exploit you. The most alarming aspect of these individuals is their ability to blend in seamlessly. They might be a friendly neighbor, a fellow survivor, or even someone within your group. They're skilled manipulators who thrive on deception. The issue is that by the time you realize you've been duped, it's often too late. So how do you identify an unsuspecting predator? Look for subtle signs. These individuals are often overly charming, too eager to help or provide advice. They'll ask probing questions aiming to gather information about your resources, plans, and vulnerabilities. They'll appear friendly, but are secretly assessing you as a potential target. Another warning sign is inconsistency. Their stories might not align or contain gaps that don't make sense. If someone's narrative keeps changing, or if they're constantly deflecting when asked about their past, that's a red flag. These people excel at concealing their true intentions, but their lies will inevitably catch up with them. Once you've identified someone as an unsuspecting predator, act swiftly and decisively. Don't confront them openly. Just distance yourself and protect your resources. Safeguard your group by ensuring this person doesn't access sensitive information or supplies. If they're embedded within your group, you may need to make the tough choice to remove them entirely before harm can occur. Now that we've discussed the three most dangerous types of people, let's talk about something equally critical: how to profile individuals based on their behavior. This isn't about labeling people as good or bad. It's about understanding human nature in a crisis and using that knowledge to stay ahead of potential threats. Behavioral profiling is something law enforcement and military personnel utilize regularly and can be extremely valuable in survival situations. It's all about reading signs, body language, speech patterns, emotional states, and using that information to assess whether someone poses a danger to you or your group. One key factor in profiling someone is their past behavior. Individuals with a history of violence, manipulation, or criminal activity are significantly more likely to revert to those behaviors under stress. Knowing someone's background allows you to gauge how much of a threat they present. Even if you lack access to their history, you can still pick up crucial cues from their temperament and behavior. For instance, someone quick to anger or easily frustrated might be more prone to violence when things don't go as planned. Conversely, someone who remains calm under pressure may be less likely to act impulsively, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're harmless. In fact, calmness in high-stress situations could indicate prior exposure to violence and confidence in handling it. Another factor worth considering is stress levels. In a crisis scenario, everyone experiences stress, but how someone manages that stress can indicate their potential for violence. A person barely holding it together might lash out if pushed too far, while another compartmentalizing stress may be biding their time until an opportunity arises. Behavioral profiling isn't solely about identifying threats, it's also about leveraging psychology to gain an advantage. By understanding what motivates people, whether fear, control, or survival, you can manipulate situations without escalating conflicts into violence. For example, if you're dealing with someone needing control, let them think they're steering the situation while quietly guiding things where you prefer them to go. It's about knowing when to push and when to withdraw, while using psychological triggers to influence behavior without unnecessary conflict. In high-tension environments, protecting your supplies is just as critical as safeguarding yourself. After all, food, water, weapons, and medical supplies are vital for survival, and that makes them targets for anyone desperate enough to seize them. The first rule of resource management during crises is avoiding attention toward what you possess. The more visible your supplies are, the higher the likelihood you'll become a target. How do you maintain discretion? One effective strategy is blending into your surroundings. Don't make it apparent that you're better prepared than others. Dress similarly to those around you, avoid showcasing your gear, and refrain from discussing your stockpile unless absolutely necessary. Another crucial aspect of resource management is securing high-value items. Not just hiding food and weapons, but being strategic about storage locations and methods. Instead of keeping everything in one place, consider dispersing supplies across multiple secure locations. You might bury some stockpiles in hidden caches, or stash them where they won't attract attention. When transporting supplies, be discreet. Move items in small batches instead of large, noticeable quantities. Timing matters too. Transport resources during low activity periods when fewer people are likely observing you. Camouflage is another tactic for protecting resources. Disguise high-value items as something less appealing. For instance, store food in old unmarked containers or wrap medical supplies in nondescript packaging. The less attention drawn, the better your odds of keeping supplies safe from prying eyes. Lastly, maintain detailed inventory records. You need clarity regarding what resources you have available, where they're stored, and how fast they're being consumed. This helps identify missing items quickly and adjust rations as necessary. Now let's turn our attention to early detection. Identifying dangerous people before they take action can literally save lives. There are several red flags worth monitoring: psychological signs, physical cues, and speech patterns that can help spot potential threats before escalation occurs. Psychologically speaking, watch for sudden behavioral shifts. If someone previously engaged with the group starts isolating themselves, consider it a warning sign. They may be retreating mentally, preparing for drastic action ahead. Mood swings are another significant indicator. If someone transitions from calmness to aggression or anxiety, rapidly could signal imminent danger. Paranoia also stands out. Individuals who become excessively suspicious of others or fixated on controlling their surroundings are more likely candidates for dangerous behavior if they feel threatened. Pay close attention to those exhibiting signs of paranoia. They're often the ones who lash out when cornered. Physical cues hold equal importance. Monitor changes in body language. Tense posture, clenched fists, or forward-leaning stance all signify mental preparation for confrontation ahead. Nervous movements like fidgeting or pacing can indicate stress levels rising, leading toward impulsive actions. Eye contact serves as another clue. Individuals avoiding eye contact might conceal something, while those staring too intensely could aim at intimidating or challenging you. Abnormal eye contact patterns should raise alarms. Don't overlook speech patterns either. When someone rambles excessively or over-explains actions, it might hint at covering up something troubling beneath surface appearances. Similarly, if someone asks too many personal inquiries, especially regarding supplies or plans, that's another red flag. They could gather information for future attacks or theft attempts. Now you've learned about 3 of the most dangerous types of people likely encountered when society breaks down, and critically, how best identify, manage those threats effectively. Remember, survival involves much more than accumulating supplies, possessing right tools. In crises, greatest challenge often emerges from people surrounding us. Whether facing someone who feels nothing left, lose hardened, violent individual, unsuspecting predator, wielding charm weapon, understanding, read behaviors, respond appropriately, safeguard group, equally important other survival skills. Furthermore, don't underestimate importance, proactive measures, recognizing dangers before escalating situation is key, staying one step ahead. Employing behavioral profiling, securing resources, recognizing early red flags can avert minor threats, transforming full-blown disasters. Survival isn't merely about reaction, it's anticipating, managing, ensuring you loved ones come top. Strategies discussed today aren't restricted collapse society. They're invaluable navigating any high-tension environment, whether natural disaster, civil unrest, uncertain times. Greater understanding human behavior scenarios equips better protect yourself, loved ones. If found video valuable, wish delve deeper topics, follow Prepper DAD Facebook. We share even more strategies, insights, tips, keeping prepared whatever comes next. And as always, don't forget, like, subscribe here. YouTube, never miss update. Thanks sticking until end. Stay vigilant, prepared, always safe out there.